Welcome. Chapter 5 and 6. Mommy had no idea she had sent me deeper into a web of trouble. And to be honest, I had no idea exactly how deep. I did nothing to tell her about where I was going and what I would be doing. I was not going to be stuck in North Carolina, where everything I had already touched burned. I couldn't face my reality anymore. Clearly, it was painful and dangerous. My support systems there just had no idea how bad things were. I'd read too much into this one and too much into that one. I was embarrassed to ask for help that I really needed. I had let people trick me with my strained relationship to be silent. I had no idea how to get a grip. I had no idea who I was. I knew my blood brother had been murdered, which meant I had a mom alive out there somewhere. Before I left North Carolina, I just had no idea who, what, when, where, or how. I knew I was just not complete. I knew that I knew nothing about living out on my own, and yet I still hit 95, driving and smiling. I chose to believe that Ivory and Mommy had saved me from myself and the hell I had already created. Virginia, long story short, was no better. Because I simply continued with the wrong crowd in the wrong direction. I began drinking more heavily and eventually went to jail again. I tried to contact my ex and my mom to get me out of jail on bond. The same two people I had ran from. I needed again. It had never crossed my mind that it hadn't even been a year since I had left Mommy's house. Mom got in contact with the courts and decided to tell them how much of a problem child I really was. I felt so betrayed that day in court, considering she told the judge I was a runaway, even though at the present time she knew exactly where I was. She felt I needed to stay in jail to learn a lesson, and she probably was correct. I know she felt it was past time for me to be accountable for my actions. My ex, on the other hand, he knew I wouldn't last a week in jail, so he decided to come and buy me out, even though he was on parole. I had a friend contact him, and I was so glad, even though we broke up on the worst terms. He was not going to let me stay in jail. I waited and waited and waited for him to come, for them to call my name, and for me to get out of there. But my name never got called. 2 days passed by, and I still had bruises on my knuckles where I split them punching the concrete. I lost it. I couldn't understand why I was still in jail. I did not want to be there. I figured he just didn't care enough to come, but the stars had actually aligned for us not to come in contact. I had prayed to get away from this man, and it was very hard for me to do. Before I had found the strength to leave him, many had tried to get me away from his abusive hold that he really had on me. No matter what he did to me, I loved him and accepted his abuse. I guess the universe was not going to bend the rules for me just to be free. My ex's new girlfriend had found out about him trying to get to me and contacted the authorities. He was arrested at the state line and he went straight to prison. I was eventually released about 2 months later and was more lost than I was when I arrived. I looked at my whole situation and decided I had no reason to stay in Virginia. I went back to North Carolina, went to work, and started working on my music career, hoping to create an album in honor of me surviving domestic violence. Chapter 6. While working in Raleigh, I met an up-and-coming music producer from Lee County. I was attracted to him, but I really just wanted to sing and perform. I was really trying to prove to my family that I was bad, but I could be good. Mommy always wanted me to play the piano. She invested in many piano lessons over the years that I was living with her. I hate to even say I was abused back then by her because it really wasn't looked at as abuse. Emotionally, she was super tired. I mean, she was in her early 70s and I was a young teen. I don't think Mommy considered my rearing years when she decided to adopt me. I really needed a mom like me, quick on their feet. I needed someone to match my curiosity and my energy. I needed someone to be able to keep up with me and my steps no matter where they led. I needed someone to believe in me. I don't really fault her now. I admit then I did resent her. But I know she wasn't capable of loving me the way that I needed to be loved. She knew as well, but she never stopped loving me the best that she could. She gave me tough love until the day she passed. She asked for forgiveness, and so did I. I tried to introduce my new music producer to my mom when I was 19. My cousin and I met him at his studio, and after singing a few songs, I decided to give it a go. I loved being on the microphone. I loved being in the studio. First thing I wanted was Mommy to meet someone that really had a positive force in my life. So, my producer and I gave Mommy a visit. That did not go over as well as I had planned. Mommy was not happy about me getting locked up after sending me to Virginia to actually avoid trouble in the first place. It had been months since this had happened, but she was still mad at me. Even though I was actually getting my music out and traveling back and forth to Philly, nothing I did pleased her. I had won a few competitions and even made a contact to a big record label in Philadelphia. I was supposed to return home and someone heard me singing. I never made it back to North Carolina that day. I was asked to stay a couple of more weeks and I met some prominent people in the industry, but there was just always this shadow lurking. I was always nervous and I always needed a drink all the time, and I hid this from everyone. Mommy told my producer right in front of me that she just did not agree with any of my choices and she was just done with me, period. I mean, she really let me have it in front of him. I won't lie, I got mad and I left out of her house. And I left him with my angry mother. I sat in the car waiting, wondering, like, why is he listening to her? Moments later, he comes out ready to leave and tells me he was telling her how I had been trying to change and he was aware of a lot of my troubles. He said he told her he was going to support me in a positive direction because I did have talent. I decided that day to stop speaking to her and to find my birth mom. I knew there was another life out there that I was supposed to be a part of, and I wanted it back. So I made up my mind to start digging and to start searching. Happy New Year.